What's up?
What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Man, I think I came in at the perfect time.
Man, you got me with a knife in my hand.
I don't like that. Man, are you about to trim a brisket?
Man, look at this bad boy. Look at marbling on that guy. Good Midland meat brisket. We're about to trim brisket, baby.
You mind if I watch?
Now, come on. Let's
right.
do it. We're doing a brisket, and then I've got a point that I'll probably be messing around with as well, so let's get her going.
How much does it weigh, do you know?
Man, this one doesn't have a weight on it, I don't think.
Weight?
Probably 18, 19 pounds, somewhere on there.
Dude, the marbling is actually insane.
It's pretty nice. It's not much of a looker right now other than the marbling. Looks like a big old hunk of meat.
I heard you know what to do with a brisket, though.
Man, we're gonna whittle it down and see what comes out, man.
So do you trim for burn-ins as well, or does it just depend, or?
So today I've got an extra point.
Okay.
This is just a point.
Okay.
So I'm not too worried about this point. If I can salvage it, I will. If not, we'll see how it goes right now. I brought an extra just in case.
Okay.
But normally I would trim the point out.
Okay.
Which I'll probably somewhat do here.
Okay.
We'll just see how it looks right now.
Okay.
Once we start working on this bad boy. Pro tip, put something underneath your brisket on these disposable cutting boards.
Yeah.
Lock it in place a little better. That way it's not sliding everywhere.
For sure.
So my first deal is I like to get in on this big decal fat on this side. Trying to take all this guy out. Look at the marbling there.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. So let's see what we're working with here. Check out this back side. So we got some big chunks of fat on this side. I'm gonna go a little thinner in here.
So right now you're just trying to get that hard fat down a little bit so you can kind of feel the brisket out, or?
Absolutely, man. I'm just trying to see what we're playing with here.
Yeah.
Take this thicker fat off. That way the brisket sits a little better on the other side.
Sure.
And then we'll start trimming that other side. See, so here we got a big chunk of fat, which is I'm not too crazy about.
Yeah.
But we'll level that guy off too.
So we kind of talked about burn-ins a little bit. You're not worried at this point about taking off too much. You're more focused on that fat, right?
Right now, since this one's got a lot of fat,
yeah,
the burn-ins are probably not going to be salvageable on this one.
Okay.
So right now I'm just trying to whittle it down a little bit. Get about a 1/4 inch of fat cap on the bottom side. Alright. Flip her back over. So I always like to know where my grains are running. So we got grains running this way. There hasn't been a brisket yet that I've found that I can't trim straight to the grain. Okay. A lot of guys tell me, oh, that one's running this way. Man, you just gotta visualize it in your head and think of how you're gonna be slicing at the end, right?
Sure.
So I always make a cut here just to round this edge off.
Okay.
And that's the fat seam, so I kind of take it to the fat seam, especially when you're separating point and flat, and then just take that piece off. This is all good meat, man. If you're trimming this at home or wherever you are, great carne guisada, barbacoa, you can make that barbacoa. It's all good stuff. Here, I don't have anywhere to put it right now, so this is the point here. We'll kind of take this fat chunk off of here and expose some more of that point. You can see it opening up a little more now.
Yeah. Yeah, so from this angle you can really see where you're getting that separation, right?
Right. Yeah, so the point is going to be underneath this big fat seam.
Yep.
So that fat separates the point and what we call the flat. So yeah, if you wanted to take out the whole point completely, just follow the top of that meat line or the bottom of that fat line, follow it all the way through, and you can separate the whole thing. In this case, I've got an extra point. I'm just gonna round or trim this off here. I could follow it, I could follow it all. See, that's all point meat there. I could have followed it all the way down there. But sometimes I like having a little protection down there.
Sure.
On that brisket. I think it helps keep it moist and juicy. And even at that point right there, I can get some good cubes out of them.
For sure.
I don't need a huge point. So now I'm just trying to visualize how the grains are running. I want them running straight up and down from me. So now I need to visualize how this brisket's gonna look in the presentation box. So I can kind of visualize what I'm not gonna need. I'm not gonna need this guy right here.
Sure.
So we'll go ahead and, trim off less than what you think you'll need. So you can always keep trimming, right?
Sure.
You can't put it back. So square that off there, and I want to go 90 degrees to the way the grains are running. So here, 90 degrees. I do this cut because this one will help me. Once the brisket is cooked, this will be my cut line. This is where I'm starting to slice that way.
Okay.
Because once you have, your bark set on there, you got sauce on there, it's really hard to see the way the grains are running once it's cooked.
Sure.
So this is an automatic. I know that line is, perpendicular to the grains. So
absolutely, that's a great tip.
We run it that way.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things. Like with people that are cooking even a backyard brisket, right? They cook a brisket, it's so barky, and then they don't really know where the grain is.
Right.
And then they'll make a wrong cut, and unfortunately, you can really mess up a brisket pretty quick.
Well, I think the not cutting it against the grain 100%. That brisket might have been great, but it's not going to taste that great, or the texture's not going to be great, right?
Sure, yeah.
Just because you cut it a little bit with the grain.
And all those things matter to the judge, right?
Absolutely.
Or when you're serving it to anybody, really.
Yep. Absolutely. So here we're taking off some more off the bottom just to level it out, make it a little more aerodynamic.
So I've seen a few people trim before. I know Bill will use like a slicing knife.
Yep.
You prefer this Victorinox?
Man, I like a good bony knife. I mean, I've got all kinds of knives. I got a longer Victorinox, shorter Victorinoxes. But yeah, this is what we use at the shop, man, at the butcher shop. So yeah, it's they're good workhorse knives. They take a beating and keep a sharp edge. It's not real hard to keep a good edge on them. So yeah, so I like these guys. I don't like this big old fat chunk. Still a little icy.
Yeah. I actually prefer to trim a brisket.
Well, they're easier to trim this way.
For sure.
Yeah. Instead of the gummy fat.
Yeah. Gummy, especially when we're cooking something with this much marbling. It's kind of hard.
Oh yeah, for sure, bro. So whittle this bad boy down.
It's been all of 10 minutes so far. You're already pretty much, I mean, it looks like you're near done.
It's pretty close. Now it's just finding a shape that pleases me. I mean, we could cook it like that and it'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
But I'll sleep better at night knowing that I got it to the shape that I want.
For sure.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
For anybody that might want to try one of these briskets, how can they get them?
Midland Meat Company in Midland, Texas. You can call the store, they'll ship them right to your door. Nice. Or if you're in that area, go by and pick one up. They got good stuff there, man. It's a Wagyu cross. Really good genetics. Not only that, owners there, some of the best people you're ever going to meet, man. Great facility, great people. Are you one to go chasing that out?
I am.
Yeah?
You're not?
I'm not too worried about it, bro. I'll probably get in here a little bit, but
yeah, so
I don't want to make an indention in there.
For sure. I am definitely the one to chase it out, though.
Yeah.
I think my problem, just with like watching you today, I think I take sometimes maybe too aggressive of a cut.
Yeah.
and it's never really hurt me, but it seems like you're doing it with much more ease. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I trim a pretty good brisket.
Yeah.
But it just seems like you're doing it a little bit easier than I do. Oh, there you go. You got it. And I think one of the things that I'll also say about you is it seems like you are, obviously you're really good at keeping your knives very sharp. Because, I mean, it does seem like the blade is just gliding through there, you know? So I think that's an importance for people that maybe they don't understand how important it is to keep your knife really sharp.
Well, I think a knife is, you know, they're different sizes for a reason, right?
Yeah.
You know, you got that knife, you got that knife. This is a bony knife. That's more of a fillet knife, but the whole edge is meant to be used, not a seesaw action, right?
Sure.
So it's really more of a glide, slide type of action that you should be doing with your knife.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that number, you know, it should be, you know, use that whole blade.
For sure.
Even though we all get caught doing the seesaw,
yeah.
or the sawzall action, whatever it is.
I also feel like you can tell when people do the seesaw action because you'll see a lot of like striations in their brisket on their trim.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
Look at that.
I'm not mad at it.
Now, without trying to get too much information about the brisket, how long will this take you to cook tomorrow? About?
So it'll go on about 5:30 tomorrow.
Okay.
They're usually about 6.5 for me. 6.5 to 7 hours.
Okay.
Tartare, anyone?
Right.
Wagyu brisket tartare. And there you go. So we got the brisket out of the way. Let me trim that point up real quick.
Sure.
So this is a point, just a point. Check this guy out. Again, Midland meat point. This is the top. Got the bottom here.
That's the same size as your flat.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So these guys are dry aged on the hook.
Okay.
That's why you get a little bit of this darker meat. So I kind of want to
take that down a little.
Yeah, take it down a little bit. I wish I had more of a fat cap there, but
is that just so you don't have dark of a color?
No, I like to have a good fat cap the whole way.
Sure.
I think that fat cap helps protect it a little.
I was gonna say, so you'll cook that with a fat cap on there. Okay, interesting.
I want the fat cap. Square this guy up. The top, I'll take all the fat off. Fajitas.
Fajitas.
At some point, I just need to put the brisket away because I'll sit here and freaking
keep going at it.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of guys who take shears, scissors. I do it with the knife. I mean, you can kind of see the rounded edges on it already.
Yeah. See, I'm not that good. I have to use the shears.
Do you? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's an angle thing, really.
Sure.
Just use your knife at an angle and.
Yeah.
But whatever works.
Yeah. So, if people want to see this more in depth, you're about to put on a class with Bill, right?
Absolutely.
When is that?
April 19th in Pleasanton, Texas. We're going to put on a full comp class.
Okay.
Me and Bill Purvis from Chicken Fried.
Sure.
So, man, you want to see this? You want to taste how this brisket's going to taste? You want to, go feel how it is after it's cooked? Because I think that to me is huge.
Sure.
Right? The tenderness and how it feels. You can go and poke it with a thermopen or whatever you want to poke it during the class, and those are things that you won't ever get from a video.
Absolutely.
You get a lot of great information from a video, but there's nothing like being at a class, getting full recipes, why I picked this brisket. It's a lot of really, really good information. So
sure.
If you guys can join us, come on out.
Absolutely.
But that's it, man.
So that's a full trim.
It's a full trim.
For Mr. Fred Robles.
Yes, sir.
All right, so You gonna be doing more YouTube videos now?
Man, we're gonna be shooting out more content, brother.
Okay.
That's the plan, is to put out as much content as we can, whether it be brisket, chicken, ribs, just backyard barbecue stuff, steaks,
Yeah.
Mexican food, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we got our own line of rubs out here as well. Those are our 2 seasonings there, Blanco and Perfecto,
Okay.
the OGs.
The OGs.
The OGs.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Absolutely.
So subscribe to the channel.
Yes, sir.
All that good stuff.
Rio Valley Meat BBQ.
There you go.
Follow us on social media and all that good stuff, man.
All right, man. Thanks for letting me
Appreciate you,
break
brother.
into your trailer.
Thank you, man.
We'll talk to you soon.
Heck yeah.